Our last speaker tonight is Nicole Saho Okimoto Wentworth. Let's give it up to Nicole. Nicole is an environmental studies major and a minor in geography. Not only is she pursuing departmental honors, she has also been on the dean's list every year she's been at the University of Washington. She's graduating this quarter and promptly entering the environmental workforce with Cascadia Consulting Group starting in June. Nicole. The title of Nicole's presentation is Community Engagement and Perceptions in Seaweed Aquaculture Development, Lessons from Vashon Island, Washington. Nicole's host organization was Washington Sea Grant, where she worked with Meg Chassie and Nicole Nar. Her faculty advisor from campus was former director of the Program on Environment, Claire Ryan, currently of UW School of Environmental and Forest Sciences.
Today, we dive into the story of kelp aquaculture and public perception. Meet the Mikes. They're both locals who are passionate about kelp restoration, who embarked on a journey and soon discovered that it's much more about growing kelp. Seaweed aquaculture is gaining momentum in Washington due to its nutritional benefits and climate mitigation potential. However, Mike's proposals are facing strong opposition from the community. So I tried to learn why. And as you can see, the public comments show that the northern farm faced strong opposition. And now the southern farm is facing an appealment from a local organization. Literature shows that natural resource conflicts are often a symptom of an underlying issue. And I tried to discover the various factors that contribute to people opposing or supporting these kelp aquacultures with this question. So I did an exploratory research with the Sea Grant and the community of Vashon Island to help the residents, farmers, and planners to understand how these perceptions are formed and if there are better ways to gain acceptance. I conducted semi-structured interviews with 10 key informants and read the 72 public comments. And then I conducted an analysis on them and completed a literature review on top of that. And everything that I found stemmed from a deep care that people had for their community and the environment. It was obvious. But it was clear also that there's a striking similarity in all of the comments and interviews, which was a distrust and disapproval of the procedure process. 44% of public comments who opposed the proposals questioned the the procedure, and these can be echoed in the interview quotes as well. They were confused on where they should get their information and what the permitting process was like. And it was across neutral, supporting, and opposing groups. And these are more examples of the concerns about the permitting process. The lack of clarity and information led to people feeling disempowered in the decision-making process. That highlights the importance of clear communication. And this is the actual permitting process. As you can see, it is so complex and so hard to understand. And I was only able to access this through my supervisor. So it was inaccessible to the public. And from my study, I found that this is the only portion that the public understand about the public or the procedure process. From the lack of clarity and information, it led to people assuming there were going to be negative impacts in the first place. So if there are better communication tools set in the first place, it may have led to people trusting and supporting these procedure process. So my recommendations include having an unbiased liaison, having a public meeting place, and sending notice with ample time. These may seem simple, but this is especially important for Vashon Island as it is an unincorporated territory within King County, which means that there are no public official gathering places like a city hall, and there's a limited mailing service that resulted in substantial delays that impacted how people receive information. The Mike's effort to restore the kelp population is so admirable. However, the communal concerns are very valid and well-founded. So, despite their efforts to communicate with the public and engage with them to gain goodwill, it suggests that there needs to be better communication and approaches on the county's part to engage with the public so that there's a liaison between the two parties. This is just the beginning of kelp aquaculture in Washington, making this a very pivotal time. To achieve alignment amongst all stakeholders is crucial in this process to ensure that we prioritize the community and the ecology at the same time. Thank you for listening.
We have some questions for Nicole. Got lots of questions out here.
Are you?
Yeah, so I was kind of wondering what were the most surprising public comments that you would come across?
Thank you. So the question was, what was my most surprising result that I found in my study? And I would say the amount of public comments that complained about how the community of Vashon Island has their mailing system was really surprising to me, because I was like, why is this like related? And I think from my research, I found out that because of the communication issue, they were coming at a place to address the issue from the root. So I was just trying to highlight that research. Thanks.
What do people, or why do people farm seaweed and kelp? Like, is it for food or?
Yeah, so really asked what is the purpose of kelping or farming kelp, and honestly, it's really it's a popular and common industry, especially in Asia, but it's growing in North America and Europe as well, because it has such strong strong potential to fight the climate, because it sequesters carbon, phosphorus, nitrogen, and it provides like natural habitats for fish, and it's good to eat. And it can be used for biofuel, animal feed. So there's a whole lot of potential out there, which is exciting. Yeah.
Where would you envision people being able to access this type of information ideally? Like, if you were able to implement the perfect system, where would people get information related to the environment?
Yeah, so the question was, where and how would be the ideal way to communicate this kind of issue, right? So I like to say that the Mikes did so many things to communicate to the public. They made websites, they sent out informational packets with seaweed snacks, and which is really cute, and like they did such a good job to engage with the public. But if these people who are kind of new or not well known or like well established within the community, I think it's so easy to kind of like question it and be like, is this really happening? Like, what's going on? So to me, I feel like the ideal person or organization to like communicate would be the county, since it is the lead SEPA, which is the State Environmental Protection Agency or Act review board. So they have that kind of authority to advocate for this kind of information. So yeah, I hope the county kind of figures it out.
Great. Thank you so much.